Hey everyone, Ben here, back in our Broca F1 23 save, and we start with great news. Perhaps because of our points finish last time out, we've got a new sponsor for the team, meaning we'll have more money to invest in upgrades and our facilities. And speaking of upgrades, we've got an engine upgrade from Renault for the next race at Imola. Now unfortunately for me, this upgrade isn't going to work out as planned, but we'll get to that later in the video. For now, we're on the formation lap, and you can see there we've qualified right the way down in P19, our teammate Theo Pourchaire in 21st position. Now that's primarily because I was blocked from my second lap in qualifying by a McLaren driver. That left me unable to set a competitive second time. I tumbled down the order and was out in Q1. Now, as ever, it's a one-stop race. We're going aggressive on the soft tyre for our first stint as we're waiting for the red lights to go out, and we are underway, and we get a decent pull away from the line. Cars fanning across the track, and we just find a bit of space on what will become the inside into the first chicane here, but the track is very congested. We very nearly run into the Haas of Hulkenberg. Up ahead we've got Joe on our outside. We're just about going to hold the position there. We were nearly forced right onto the grass. We've got two Haas drivers side by side going into the Villeneuve chicane. As we spot the apex nicely, we'll get a decent run out of the corner, and actually late braking, we get a chance down the inside of both Haas drivers. We've still got one on our outside. He won't give it up in this contact. Magnussen just up on the curb there. Maybe I just squeezed him out of room. Hopefully that wasn't my fault. It was quite a bit of contact. It looks like I've gotten away from it unscathed. I'm not sure if the same can be said for Magnussen. Of course, he's got a track record of first lap contact. Let's take a look on the replay from his on board. You can see I'm down his inside well through the corner, and he just tries to hang it out around the outside. We come together. Oh, I think it's hopefully a racing incident there, but let me know what you think in the comments. Lap 2 then, and we're closing right on the rear wing of Logan Sargent. Now, Sargent has started on the medium tyre, so it's important that we don't get stuck behind him here. We've got a decent gap to Nico Hulkenberg behind. Can I get past Sargent and keep making progress in this race? He defends the inside up the hill towards the left-hander there, and we're going to be into Agua Minerale. There's no real way of making a pass here unless the driver up ahead makes a big mistake. Instead, you've got to prioritise a good exit, and maybe, just maybe, if you can get all the way alongside, there's a move to be done down in the tight chicane. We go for it down the inside, but there's contact again. A really scruffy opening couple of laps there. I thought I had enough of my car down Sargent's inside there to be given room. Let's take a look at it on replay. Oh, and he does turn in, but maybe there was nowhere else for him to go. It was a very risky manoeuvre for me. Let's have a look at it one last time. It's left me with front wing damage. That is going to slow me down through the rest of this race, and we rejoin the live action on lap 5, and you can see just how much it's slowed me down from the cars up ahead. They've built a big gap, and I've got a message through the team radio that we're also struggling with our engine. You might have seen there a piece of debris flying across the track. There's been contact up ahead. That's Yuki Tsunoda's front wing that's been damaged there from running side by side with Lance Stroll. So it's all kicking off in the early stages of this race. We're carrying front wing damage. We're also carrying an engine issue. And we know one of the drivers up ahead at least is carrying damage too. So we're running in P16. 15th, 14th and 13th are just up the road, and we are now closing back in on them because Tsunoda is really causing a traffic jam here. I'm going to take a decision to come into the pits. I wasn't due for my stop for a little while yet, for another 5 laps or so, but I'm a bit concerned I'm going to get caught in traffic here, and also I'm losing time every lap with this front wing damage. I can pit now, get onto the medium tyre and take that tyre right the way through to the end of the race. So I'm going to roll the dice and hope that this works out. I am going to fix my front wing damage, so it's going to be a longer pit stop, and you'll see just how long here as we trundle painfully slowly into the pit lane. It's going to be around a 7-second stop. There's Tsunoda in the pits as well for his repairs and his tyre change. We're going to drop all the way towards the back of the field here, but the advantage will be I'll be in clear air, so that really is going to come down to, can I set quick enough lap times? There goes Kevin Magnussen, so he's through despite having had to pit in himself for that front wing damage on lap 1. I'm going to be all the way to last position. Now, I was given 1 place back as Piastri retired from the race with engine failure, but we're going to have to go all the way on to lap 12 now to see whether we're going to be able to jump anybody in the pits. And look at that, we are. We get an undercut and we're past Sargent and Guan Yu Zhou and Théo Pourchaire. So we're now back up into P17 in this race. That's there or thereabouts the position I was in when I got this damage. So now it's going to be a case of, can I keep the Alfa Romeo Guan Yu Zhou behind us, because he's on the medium tyre, so we're on the same compound, but he's got younger tyres. They're going to be fresher, he will be quicker, and I keep getting messages from my engineer that this engine issue is getting worse, and you can see just how down on power I am coming up the hill. Zhou fancied a look around the outside, I was able to hold him off, but we move on to lap 13, and you can see I am really struggling here to keep the Alfa Romeo behind, and I've lost touch with Hülkenberg up ahead. I am really down on power. You'll see just how much so as Zhou powers past here, heading into the Villeneuve chicane. I've got no answer for him, and actually it makes more sense to let him go and stop losing time defending. We're on to lap 14 then, and look, Logan Sargent on the hard tyre is closing in as well. This feels at this stage of the race like a futile battle. Everything has gone wrong in this race so far. You'll remember we had an engine upgrade. This was meant to be a race where we were running quicker because of the work that Renault have done. But for me at least, that has not worked out at all as we're coming under pressure from Sargent into Ravazza 1 and 2 as we come out onto the start-finish straight. Look at the power difference here between the Williams that is notoriously quick in a straight line and my stricken La Broca car. He's well clear before we're anywhere near T1 on lap 15. On to lap 18 then, and slowly but surely, remarkably, we are now getting back towards the pack of cars up ahead. Whether Tsunoda's tyres are going off or he's had another issue, he is slowing quite considerably. So while I do have De Vries catching me up from behind, I am getting closer to the pack of cars up ahead. There's only a few laps left to go, but we've got the gap to Tsunoda down to within a second, so I will have DRS on the next lap if I can just keep consistent and keep closing in on the AlphaTauri driver up ahead. We're through Agua Minerale again, and it looks like Lance Stroll is slowing down as well. I've no idea whether he's got a technical issue too, but this could be a big opportunity for me before the end of the race, providing we don't ultimately succumb to an engine failure. More messages from the pit that we're overheating the engine as things stand, but for now I'm just concentrating on making an overtake down the inside of Tsunoda into the penultimate corner. I had to take a chance there to try and get past him before the end of this race. We were brave on the brakes, he gave me space on the inside, and now it's going to be a question of whether we can catch Lance Stroll as well as we get into the final couple of laps. One more look at that overtake, really pleased with that one. Can we make any more progress in the last 2 laps of this race? Well, we're going to find out because we're straight onto lap 21 here and we're closing in on the rear wing of Lance Stroll. There really is not much time left in this race, and we get a big snap of oversteers. You can see I'm pushing as hard as I can with this weakened car to try and make up one more place and get into P16. It won't make any difference to us in the context of the championship, but I want for pride at least to try and get this position back. I had high hopes coming into this race weekend, having scored points last time out, and of course boosted by that supposed engine upgrade from Renault that really has been a bit of a disaster. So can I salvage just one more position coming through Agua Minerale? You can see how much more speed than Stroll we've got, and look up ahead, Bottas is slowing down as well. So maybe, just maybe, there could be an additional position up for grabs here. Drivers really struggling towards the end of this race, and that's been a big bonus for me because I was out of this in the middle stage of the race, but actually it's coming back towards me as we come through the final couple of corners before we get onto the last lap of this race. Both Stroll and myself visibly gaining on Bottas, but of course that means Stroll is going to have DRS as well, so I've got no chance with myself being down on engine power to get anywhere near Stroll, and actually he is going to be the prime beneficiary here. He gets past Bottas and up into 15th position. Now I've got a chance to try and get past the Finn as well. Look at how much we've closed in on his rear wing. We've got Tsunoda shaping for a move too. This is massive action. In the closing stages of this race, will I be able to get past Bottas, or actually might I lose position to the two AlphaTauris who are now right on my rear wing? But look at that, Bottas defending hard up the hill as it looked like I might have a chance to get down his inside. There was no room, so I had to think again about that. But maybe, just maybe, it's going to require another move down into the chicane, where of course we suffered damage in the opening stages of this race. We're side by side, we're going to go for it here, but it'll be around the outside. Does Bottas give us room? Yes, he does, and we're able to keep the car on track within track limits. That means we can hold the position, and we're up into P16. That was a hard-earned pass and something of a consolation given how disappointing this race has ultimately been for both myself and Theo Pourchaire, who perhaps is suffering from the same kind of engine issue that we have been. He is even further down the field than I am, but we crossed the start-finish line to come home in P16. So that is a far cry from the points finish that we got at Australia last time out, and you can see we were just off the pace. Our fastest lap time not really that close to many of the drivers up ahead. We were a second a lap, it seems, at least off top 10 pace. So we're just going to have to chalk this one up to experience, put it in the rear view mirror as quickly as we can, and move on in this championship. Max Verstappen took the win, but it's Sergio Perez who's at the head of the championship at this stage after 3 race weekends. We're still there with 2 points earned last time out in P13. It puts Broca in 8th place in the championship, which is where we need to be for our sponsors. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, leave a like, get subscribed, and I will see you on the next one.